Blade Runner 2049 is a beautifully executed neo-noir science fiction film with groundbreaking cinematography, carefully crafted sound, and immersive visuals. However, it is indisputable that the film did little to advance the depiction of the role of woman of anything except puppets and victims to patriarchal and capitalist interests. This video essay is going to explore the male gaze in Blade Runner 2049 by analyzing the female characters in this film and how they are displayed and observed as passive objects of a heterosexual male gaze. In Laura Mulvey's essay, Visual Pleasure and Narrative Cinema, she coined the term the male gaze. Mulvey questions cinema's complicity with patriarchy and explores how cinema caters to specifically male unconscious pleasures. Through the male gaze, men are granted this power to look, while women function primarily as an image or object of sight. In doing so, a problematic representation of the female is produced. To start, there is Joy, a holographic AI sex toy designed to be purchased by men. Her character attempts to present to the viewer how women will be exploited in this future society. In these scenes where Joy's advertisement is presented, her body is placed on exhibition to be simultaneously looked at and displayed. Her presence in these scenes tends to work against the development of the storyline and frees the flow of action in moments of erotic contemplation. And as a result, Joy's primary function is to act as an erotic object for the viewer. Mariette is a replicant sex worker. With the title of the stand-in for Kay's VR love interest, her body is literally an exchangeable object of pleasure. Mariette is part of the rebel movement, which is a potentially interesting storyline for her character, but its only purpose is to conveniently save Kay at a crucial moment so he can push the plot without any further involvement of her. When analysing how female characters such as Joy and Mariette are portrayed in this film, they have two functions. First, as an erotic object for the male characters within the film, and second, as an erotic object for the spectator watching the film. Love, a replicant controlled by the Weyes Corporation, fulfills the compulsory femme fatale role in a science fiction film. The femme fatale is often at first presented as powerful, free, and also a dangerous woman. We must question what is so threatening about love's power and freedom, even if it is permitted by the Weyes Corporation. The answer is that power and freedom are characteristics restricted to male characters, and as a woman who is able to embody these attributes, she is seen as a threat. But by the end of the film, Love is punished for these qualities and is killed by Kay and placed back in her subordinate, femininely connotated place, with death as her reward, and the gendered, active male, passive female dichotomy is restored. Joshi is the head of the LAPD and Kay's superior. She is a female character in a position of authority, but her role in the film is minor. Joshi's death has no tangible impact on the story, and while she may not be overtly sexualized or created for man's pleasure, like Joy, she is simply gone when it is expedient to remove her from the film. So when looking at Blade Runner 2049, it's hard to ignore how all the female characters are either sex workers, holographic housewives, prisoners, or die brutal deaths that we are forced to watch. The looming presence of the male gaze in this film is owed to the fact that the film's writers and directors were all men, resulting in a film devoid of a feminist perspective. People may say that the story of Blade Runner is merely reflecting a world of sexism, but Blade Runner also fails to address exactly how this kind of exploitation actually affects women. If the exposure of objectifying women was done for the sake of social commentary, the film should have gone beyond of showing the audience that women can be objectified. Because I can assure that the majority of the male audience that watches this film are more prone to gawk over a massive female body instead of reflecting, questioning, and then condemning the existence of a dangerous commodity that encourages men to replace women with a sexualized object. The film ends by recentering the male protagonist, Kay, and reinforces him as the actual hero of the film. Blade Runner 2049 doesn't present a single woman who isn't motivated by helping or hindering the hero's journey. Blade Runner 2049, although visually stunning and engages in the ongoing philosophical question of what it means to be human, the film is unable to untangle itself from misogynistic undertones. The treatment of women's bodies in the film obscures the potentially progressive social commentary the film may have been attempting, and this happens when men are active, controlling the gaze and the narrative, while women remain passive, objectified sexual images with peripheral roles. I don't exactly know how we can eradicate this incessant fetishistic scopophilia of women in film, but I do know that we need to find a plausible way of commenting on themes of sexism and exploitation of women without objectifying women to demonstrate these problems.